It is so hard to talk about movies. It's so hard because I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over. Oh, it could have been better. Oh, why didn't the director, who's given a great opportunity to make any movie, like these directors, they don't have to make the movies. They're not forced to make movies. They choose to make movies. Why don't you go harder? Why don't you leave it all on the line? How come so many movies just are so non-affecting? Just nothing. Wolfman. I didn't hate this movie. I didn't hate it, but it gives you absolutely nothing. Look, this is a Blumhouse movie, and a lot of the movies they make are crap horror movies. We all know that. So many of them are just spat out nonsense by directors with absolutely no talent. I remember watching Imaginary last year. That is a bad Blumhouse movie, a terrible movie. This movie feels a little bit different in the sense that Leigh Whannell, who's an Aussie, did Saw, didn't direct it, James Wan did, his business partner, did The Invisible Man a couple years ago, Upgrade a few years before that, which is a very good movie, by the way, you should watch that. Leigh Whannell is not a bad director, not a terrible writer. He has passion for what he's doing. It's obvious he loves horror. It's obvious he's got new ideas and things to say. The Invisible Man was decent. I didn't love it. Upgrade, as I said, was great. This movie, however, just feels like it was underbaked. There wasn't enough here. It feels like Leigh Whannell wanted to make a Wolfman movie, had an idea to make it a disease, like a virus, had ideas to show the point of view from the Wolfman, which were really cool scenes, but outside of that, there was nothing else. So it's almost like he pitched, hey, what if we did this to Jason Blum, who owns Blumhouse? What if we did this? And he said, all right, I'll give you $20 million. It comes out in 6 months. Oh shit, let's go shoot something. That's how it felt. I was not hating the movie. It's slow. It could have been faster. Some of the acting's great. Some of it I didn't like. I'll get into the acting. But I was not hating this movie by any means. I was enjoying it. It was atmospheric at times. I was enjoying the transformation of this guy into the Wolfman. It was like, okay, this is good. I'm enjoying this. But then, the last 15 minutes, everything sort of happens, but nothing happens. I'm not going to spoil it. I'll spoil it at the very end. And then, the movie ends, and the music, the music goes crazy at the end, like it's this big dramatic moment, and it's not. And then it ends, and you're just like, oh, this felt like the first 10 minutes of any other werewolf movie you've ever seen. So this was like a prequel to a Wolfman, and it has nothing to say, nothing really cool to show you outside of 2 scenes. The werewolf design itself isn't horrible, but I've seen a lot better. The writing is generic. The acting is... The guy that plays the Wolfman, I thought was good. The daughter, it's a child actor, she did fine. Julie Garner, I believe her name is, the lady that was in Ozark, who's great in Ozark. I thought she was terrible here. She's playing a mother and a reporter, but she still looks 20, and she just doesn't have that gravitas, presence of, like a leading woman. I don't think she's a leading woman, and she was weak in this role. And they're really the only actors in the movie. It's a very intimate setting. 3 characters, there's a couple side characters here and there. There's nothing really to talk about there in terms of the acting. The writing is, as I said, generic. It felt like Leigh Whannell had concepts he wanted to explore. The transformation is the whole movie, essentially. These characters go to Oregon, he gets attacked, and he starts turning into the Wolfman. That's not a spoiler. And the movie slowly shows him turning, and it is cool. It's like a disease, a sickness, and it's like, this is different. I like that. However, everything else sucks. There's a very underbaked thing between parents, like the themes of parenthood and how strict you should be, and generational trauma, I guess, and breaking those bonds, and female empowerment because she's a reporter and she wants you to know she's a reporter that can also use a shotgun and everything else without setup. Look, it's just underbaked and rushed and not worth your time. Now, the filmmaking is something I'll praise. Leigh Whannell, this is why I'm saying this movie doesn't feel like Blumhouse shit. It does feel like Leigh Whannell tries and has vision. The man has vision. He doesn't just make a movie, he knows what he's trying to do. It's just sort of like that Zack Snyder thing where if you let these people too involved in the writing process, it's never going to work out well. Leigh Whannell, he probably said, I want to base this around the concept of seeing the point of view of the Wolfman. And the scenes where you see it, the camera does a 360, all in one take, I assume, enhanced by CGI later in the movie, but at first, you start on the Wolfman and you see him from the human point of view, right? So he's all dribbling and incoherent. The camera spins around him to reveal what he's looking at, and then the brightness goes up, the lights in the background go up, the voices of the humans he's watching get mumbled, and it's like, that's really cool. That is vision, that is well executed filmmaking. Earlier in the movie, the Wolfman, he's really getting sick and he wakes up, and the whole setting of this house, which was dark the scene before, is all of a sudden really bright. And I was sitting in there going, why does everything look so bright now? They've got the lighting wrong. But then you realize from his point of view, he sees things brighter, and I appreciate that. They do use that turn the camera trick maybe one too many times in the movie, but the first 2 times they did it, I was like, that's really cool. The score and music is non-existent. If you're making a horror movie, you gotta have a good score, any movie. There's nothing here, very generic. And now I'll spoil the movie. I have 2 things I wanna say, and spoilers from here to here, okay? He only becomes the Wolfman in like the last 10 minutes of this movie. I checked my phone at one point, and I was like, oh, it's about to end. Like, the movie didn't feel like it was reaching a climax at all, because it was so slow paced, and the music was non-existent. It just never felt like it reached a crescendo. So you're in like the climax apparently, and the stakes feel really low. You don't really know what's at stake. You don't know if the Wolfman is still in control of his own mind, because he's having a pretty good go at keeping himself in control while he's sick. So you just don't know what's going on. They have this set up at the start. There's a scene at the start of the movie that shows the main character as a kid. It's too long and really doesn't set up too much other than he has this treehouse in the forest near the farmhouse, and that's where the movie ends. They're in the treehouse. The scene is parallel to the one at the start of the movie, except now the kid is the Wolfman and his wife shoots him off screen. And I was like, oh, like she shoots him and you don't see him get shot. And you're just like, oh, that can't be it. They go down on the ground, get out of this treehouse, and the Wolfman just dies there. That's it. And it was so anticlimactic. It was nothing. There's a line at the start of this movie where the Wolfman's dad in the flashback says, don't eat those mushrooms, they'll kill you. And they make a point about these mushrooms at the very start, and I thought that was going to come back later. I thought maybe the Wolfman will be in control of his own mind enough that after hunting his family, maybe he comes to a realization that they don't have the strength to kill him, but he has the strength to restrain himself. So maybe as the Wolfman, he just eats these mushrooms and sacrifices himself. It's not that cool, but I thought something along those lines would happen. Now he just gets shot, and then the final shot of the movie is the mother and the daughter, who aren't really showing much emotion for what they just went through, just looking out over Oregon. And it's like this final shot, it's a nice shot, but it's like, it's not thematically relevant. It mirrors back to the same shot in the flashback at the start, but what's that saying? It's saying nothing. So it's just like, okay. And then yeah, it just ends, and that was the movie. And I just blew my mind how little this movie did. And I thought we might have got a really cool something at the end, but nothing happens. And that's the movie. I wish I had better things to say. I was actually looking forward to this. I did not hate it. The one thing I'll say and leave you with is that it does nothing, says nothing. Take that how you will. It's not worth your time. I would not recommend it. I'm sorry, Leigh Whannell. I think you've got vision and talent, but this ain't it. See you in the next video. Goodbye.